Hey, good kind of people. What is going on? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You are checking out the RCWR show. So we're dropping this for the week of December 19th, 2022. We are live. At least at the time that we're doing this for you guys right now, we're live. But shout out to those of you that normally make it be your business to check out the good stuff for on demand and on the download. So we're here talking about that good old WOW Women of Wrestling fallout from this past weekend. We're also going to give a little bit of a nod to what all had went down from the previous weekend, as we didn't cover last weekend. I'm trying to think I know something important was going on. Most likely it had to do with my classes. 9 times out of 10. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99.9% certain that's why we didn't do anything last weekend. I hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. You had one, as this is it. We're into the final week here, man. We've got, what is it? Christmas 6, some would say technically 7 days away and all that, man. But I hope that a lot of you guys made it be your business in regards to the shopping. You got that wrapped up, man, because oh my God. Woo, woo. So look, before we dive into it on the talk of WOW Women of Wrestling, I want to just tackle one thing at the very start of the show, and this is WOW Women of Wrestling related. So I had salt, and I don't want for this person to feel as though I'm picking on them directly, because it's not me picking on them whatsoever. This is just one of those scenarios where it just piqued my interest, and I'm not really one of those type of people that likes going back and forth in text messaging exchanges. So let me set this up properly for you guys. So I had got a message that was posted on the last WOW webcast that we did, which would have been covering episode 12 of Women of Wrestling Fallout. And the person basically had asked, what's going on with the Impact Wrestling coverage? And I told them very politely, very respectfully, hey, we haven't covered Impact Wrestling in over a year. Like, you know, there's really not much of a demand for it. And not to mention, on top of that, the most important thing, I don't have access to Access TV anymore. They stopped doing the episodes of Impact Wrestling on the Twitch stream where they would host stuff in between, all that good stuff. Is like, so, you know, plus I have a deep appreciation and respect for the WOW promotion. We've actually built a nice rapport with the good people at WOW from over the years. So yeah, you know, the odds of covering that on a consistent basis, not to mention there is only but so many hours during the week that a person like me will actually sit down and write. And so their whole thing was, it kind of seemed like they were trying to make a counterpoint. So this was their counterpoint. Seemed as though they were trying to say, well, you choose to cover WOW Women of Wrestling, so, well, either way, I'll check out your WOW coverage. And it's, you know, make no mistake about it, and longtime listeners of this show will tell you, when Impact Wrestling, when I did have access to it, when I did have Access TV, I did poke my head, I did cover it. You know, I gotta be brutally honest with you guys. anybody that's ever been in any type of a relationship, doesn't have to be intimate. It could be a relationship with somebody that you were friends with for a long period of time, all that. Eventually you start to feel a certain way when you look at that person or that thing or whatever you used to check out, and you fall out of love with it. And for me, I fell out of love with Impact Wrestling a long time ago. It didn't help that they were doing all of that bouncing around to different networks, and then we had those weird phases where you're scratching your head going, what exactly is going on with this promotion? Like what the hell? And so for myself and a lot of people, we fell out of love with the Impact product. I do try to at least go online from time to time or just stay up to date in wrestling news and see what's been going on and everything. Just, key elements. There are a couple of people that I've had my eye on for a while that I continue to support, root for, and everything. That includes Moose, Tasha Steeles, Jordan Grace. Love those. Those are just my phenomenal, absolute favorites. Also got to show some love there to Sami Callihan. He's a fucking beast as well. But, when you don't have access to it like you used to, and now you're put in a position where you're expected to go out of your way, come up out of your pocket and pay, I've never, not once, this is probably going to surprise a lot of people, but even when I was watching Impact Wrestling / TNA at their absolute best, I never came out of my pocket for TNA. When they made the transition to Impact, I never made I got to go in my pocket and I've never, just this past weekend for my birthday, I had an opportunity to go up to the Squared Circle Collectibles store and do a meet and greet with the Cowboy, James Storm. A lot of respect for James Storm. And my wife had offered, it was going to be me and a couple of other people, because originally I was supposed to travel up to, apparently, I had found out about this rather late, but apparently I was supposed to travel up to Chicago to hang out with my good friend, Missionary Thomas. And, for respective reasons, that didn't fall through. And so it was like, well, what do you want to do this weekend? It's your birthday weekend. What do you want to do? I'm like, well, I don't know. And then somebody said, oh, well, the Cowboy James Storm is going to be at the Square Collectibles store. You want to go check that out? And I said, no, not really. No. It's like, really? But you like the Cowboy? Yeah, but not enough to want to drive damn near over an hour to and from, wait in line, and no. So, that's where I'm coming from right now. Some people may feel a little bit salty hearing that. They may be feeling a little bit heartbroken saying that and everything. But, it's interesting because when I was mentioning these comments in the Discord, and I basically had said, you can't please them all, nor should you even try, because it's just going to be an endless cycle. It's not going to stop. It's going to be, okay, so you're covering this, but what about NWA? Or what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? I remember a long time ago, I had said to one guy, I said, look, if you like that promotion, because it happens from time to time. I said, if you like that promotion that much, why don't you cover it? And that person actually took my advice, and they had covered it themselves. And they went at it for a couple of years. They lasted about 3 years before they had finally threw in the towel and everything. So, but for the record, when it comes to covering WOW, Women of Wrestling, longtime listeners knows this, I have been following passionately, covering this promotion passionately for 4 years now. 4 years now, a lot longer than even when I was doing my coverage of TNA / Impact, a lot longer than that. So for me, I really, and plus I'm a big supporter of the women's wrestling. That's the other thing. I like stuff that's not your typical realm of what you usually see during the week and everything. And, there's this little bit of a stigma and everything, but I tell you what, every single time I have ever talked Women of Wrestling with new folks that maybe did not check it out, but they hear me talking about it and they go out of their way to go check out an episode, I always hear back from them a couple of days later. Hey man, I finally had checked it out and goddamn, that was really fucking good. Chat me up about blah blah blah. Chat me up about da da da. Chat me up about, and it's nice still being part of that whole process where you're seeing a promotion that has so much potential that is in a infancy phase right now. Hasn't quite fully exploded just yet and everything, and a lot of people are basically sleeping on it for all intents and purposes and all that, right? So FYI, but I'll say this and then we'll move it along to our recap and review and all that good stuff. Look man, super chats are always open. So if anybody that is a fan of Impact, hey man, could you just check out one episode and, I'm curious your thoughts. As long as you do a super chat of at least $5 or more, you don't have to. Nobody's pointing a gun to your head or whatever. It's like, but if it means that much to you that you want to hear my thoughts about $5 super chat minimum, and I will gladly freaking watch an episode. I will, just for you, I will go out of my way. I will watch and I will, but unless it's a case where, nah, man, you really, when you get a free moment, need to watch this because this crazy shit had went down. I had one friend said to me, you got to go back and you got to see how they killed off Eric Young. Like, wait, say what? Yeah, they fucking killed off Eric Young on Impact. Like, okay, I'll go out of my way and check that out. Yeah, sure. Then that same person had sent me a link and they chatted me up to speed on everything so that I could check it out and everything. But yeah, FYI. So now that we kind of got that elephant out of the room, I say let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit of WoW, Women of Wrestling here. So we got to rewind it back because, yeah, we had a new episode that had dropped over the weekend. But I do want to just give some quick bullet point thoughts on some of the stuff that I was checking out from the previous episode, which was honestly pretty good for all intents and purposes. So let's rewind it back real quick. Episode 13 had saw Robbie Reyes, a new WoW comer to the roster and everything, and she been on the indies for about 2 years. She didn't have that much training in WoW. She had only been getting her training in with WoW for a handful of months and everything, but she was in action. It looked as though this was a case right here where you're going, so is this possibly going to be a total squash or not? But Robbie Rocket making her WoW debut, and I'm sure we'll definitely going to be seeing some vignettes of her in the weeks to come. I find it rather interesting that we're still getting, look at this now, at this point of what we're talking about right now, 13 episodes in, and we're still trying to see, okay, so where, who are we mainly going to use here as the focal point and everything? We kind of have an idea of that, but we're still getting these debuts. And you're going, man, how many more women are going to be making their debut this season? And I actually, right before we went on the air, I actually went online. And to my surprise, there is at least 2 more women that have yet to make their WoW debut by my accounts. At least 2. Yes, I kid you not. So you guys are like, wait a minute, there's more? Like, yes, there's a couple more. One of the girls, and I'm actually looking at the WoW roster right now, one of the women that has not made their debut yet is Crystal Waters. She has not made her debut yet. And the other girl, let me see. I'm still looking at the roster. Yeah, I don't recall seeing this girl debut yet. I will definitely go back into my notes and check if I did, if I blanked out on her. Because, look, maybe she was involved in a squash match and I didn't really think anything much of it. But Jennifer Jen Z Flores. Those are the 2 that I'm aware of right now that have yet to make their debuts. Speaking of debuts, Episode 14 from over the weekend has saw a debut from Vicki Lynn McCoy, who's not even on the WoW roster right now. Hey, I need you guys over at Women of Wrestling, whoever's managing the page, whoever is your website designer and all that, got to update that, man. Come on now. Don't leave us hanging like that. You guys got to update that. But Robbie Rocket making her singles and WoW Women of Wrestling debut against Candy Crush. Candy Crush somehow managed to take those gloves that were, you gotta say it in parentheses because we didn't see her do it with her own two hands, but Chainsaw. But for all intents and purposes, Chainsaw is the one that had destroyed those gloves. Not my mama's biscuits, Gina, not my mama's biscuits. So Candy Crush somehow managing to take some duct tape, Gorilla Glue, whatever. Somehow she managed to salvage those gloves. And she was in action here. Good match. I mainly was paying attention to Robbie Rocket and everything. And she, I got to see a little bit more of her. I got to see a little bit more of her. I see some potential, though, but I need to see a little bit more of her. Siren the Voodoo Doll making a cameo via Titantron, interfering there in the match, pretty much costing Candy Crush the win as Robbie Rocket, doop, Robbie Rocket. I know what David McClain and crew are thinking, man. Some of these names I'm going, okay, I know where we are on this one. And I do have a knack and appreciation for the doo-wop vibe. If you want to get me talking on old school rock and roll, old school country, and doo-wop, Motown era, get me started up on those. I have just this useless trivia in my head. I can just talk about that all day long. Matter of fact, I remember during the Saturday night football games that we had from over the weekend, myself, my wife, my father-in-law, we were talking all things old school country for a good minute. I was telling them how I was doing some digging on the life of Patsy Cline, and she actually has ties here to the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And so I was just telling them all this useless trivia that was just in my head and everything, and that just started a nice snowball domino effect and everything. But Siren the Voodoo Doll running interference via the Titantron, pretty much causing a good of enough distraction for Robbie Rocket to win via a schoolboy. Post-match, we seen our girl Candy Crush get on the microphone saying, hey, look, David McClain, AJ Lee, look, I don't care what y'all got to do, but I need to get my hands on whoever's been coming after me. I will take on all newcomers. It don't matter who it is, whether it's Voodoo, Chainsaw, Holiday, line them up, I'll knock them down, let's go. So we see exactly where that's going, but there is such thing as strength in numbers. And right now, be careful what you wish for at Candy Crush, because you are at this point seriously outnumbered. So you can't help but wonder, all things considered, is maybe Candy Crush going to reach back out to Keita Rush? Hey, I know I had pushed you to the side and I'm really sorry about that. And, can we see that relationship repaired? And then what about our girl, who I still feel is the one that's responsible? I really, really do. What about our girl? Oh my God, I'm blanking out on her name right now. I got to look at the roster list. Forgive me, guys. It happens. Sometimes I will blank out on Steffi Slays. I didn't even look. It came to me. What about the beautiful and the lovely Steffi Slays, who I said a couple of weeks ago, I said, look, man, I still am holding on to this thought, which is that Chainsaw pretty much got into some type of an arrangement with Steffi Slays. I don't know whether Steffi Slays paid Chainsaw some money or what, but remember, Steffi Slays got pretty salty. She got pretty jealous seeing Keita Rush and Candy Crush really kicking it off there and everything. I still believe Steffi Slays is the one that's at fault for everything that's going on there. So is it possible that maybe we could see a turn happening very, very soon? Hold on to that, but sound off. Let me know what you guys think about that when it's all said and done. But moving right along to some more action, Ice Cold taking on Foxy Fierce. And for the first time in WoW history, we had the debut of a WoW female referee in Paige Zantazelli. So that's pretty good. That is some damn good progress right there. I can't believe, for all the different incarnations we've seen of WoW, women of wrestling over the years, that as far as referees go, very surprised to hear that. Not even a female guest referee. Not even a female special guest referee. This was just the first time ever that WoW had a female. I couldn't believe that. Really, it's almost, I trust them, but there's a part of me that's going, nah, man, maybe they missed something. Surely they missed something, but nah, very, very, very rare do they have a hiccup. So I'm trusting them on that one. Probably my most... I'm just kind of thinking about this match. From this episode, from episode 13, probably my most favorite match. One of two of my favorite matches from the card, respectfully. That Foxy Fierce. Man, I love Foxy Fierce. That girl is definitely going places, man. She's got the swag and everything. I love that girl tremendously. I'd like to see a lot more happen with her character in future episodes of WoW. I definitely, personally, I would love to see her maybe form a tag team and try to go after the tag champions there. That is, of course, after the Tonga twins has their say. Previewing there, doing a little previewing there for you guys. Meanwhile, Penelope Pink, most competitive, most technical match from episode 13. Penelope Pink taking on Chantilly Chella. I love this. This was actually, besides the main event match, this was a damn good banger right here. Penelope Pink, man, she is just continuing to go in there, and I'm just marveled at, man, this girl and her trash talking game and the way she plays off of the crowd, interacts with them. She is just continuing to pile on. Good shit right there. Penelope Pink getting an easy win when it's all said and done. It was competitive now, but for me, all intents and purposes, an easy win there for Penelope Pink. Nice, pretty ass finisher too. The way she ended it, she pretty much did a flipping, swinging neck breaker, if you will. I know it's called the Pretty and Pink, but you know, I would like to change that name. David McLean, AJ Lee and crew, why not call that move the makeover? Why not call that move the makeover? Seriously. Seriously, call it the makeover. Don't call it the Pretty and Pink. No. Just call it the makeover. You're welcome. Main event match, Tonga Twins taking on Miami Sweet Heat for the WoW Tag Team titles. Okay, so is this it? Is this it? Are we finally going to see crowned new WoW Tag Champions? We have been teased quite a bit this season. It's almost been a running gag. It's almost gotten downright to the point where it's like Veer Mahan coming soon to WWE Raw, and like it's never happened, right? And you're going, are we ever going to see this season new WoW Tag Champions get crowned here? Love this main event match. Loved it. These girls, oh my God, this was absolutely a fucking banger here, man. And you know what? Foolish heart on me. Miami Sweet Heat. I should have known the entire time with a name like that there definitely was going to be some sweet heat going on here, because final moments of this tag matchup, We had saw join at ringside was Penelope Pink and Lana Starr, who pretty much just forced themselves onto the announce team with AJ, David McClain, and Steve Dickey. And they had an announcement that they were going to make and everything. And so David McClain and crew, they were picking on them throughout the match, trying to find out exactly what were they going to be announcing and everything. And at one point, you hear, okay, well, how about dreams, aspirations to become the new WoW Women's World Heavyweight Champion? And Penelope Pink, yeah, that's definitely what it's all about. Lana Starr saying, yeah, that definitely sounds pretty good. You know what else sounds good, too? Not for nothing, but those Wild Tag titles. That'd be pretty good to add to the collection as well and everything. So you're hearing all of this and you're going, okay, so what exactly is going on with this big announcement that Lana Starr has? Because she said initially, after Penelope Ford had defeated Chantilly Chella, that, hey, got an announcement, but it's going to wait until the main event match because it's bigger than the main event match, right? So, final moments of Tonga Twins taking on Miami Sweet Heat looked as though Tonga Twins were about to stick a fork in it. This bad boy is about to be done. When all of a sudden, Pink and Ford, Pink and Star, they leave the announce table. They have their little mirrors in their hands. They just go over the domes of both Tonga Twins. They were a little bit stunned, but they pretty much had no soul did. They were pretty pissed off. They started, beating their heads, screaming, and they grabbed onto the heads of those girls. Next thing you know, from behind, Miami Sweet Heat, Lori, Lindsay, attacking them, getting in double roll-ups, boom. So we finally have new Wild Tag champions, but it's tainted because they had got help from Lana Starr, as Lana is holding their hands up in victory and then says, yeah, about that announcement, we're going to hold it off until next week. Just too good to get into it right now. We'll hold off until next week. So I like how we built this up, and you know what? Finally, we get the payoff and everything. We finally get new tag champions. And you know what? I am definitely down with Miami Sweet Heat being heels right now because, man, those Tonga Twins, they are so beloved. Okay, both teams were very beloved, but the Edge, I mean, it's not even close. Tonga Twins was more beloved than Miami Sweet Heat. And as I had said to you guys a couple of weeks back, I said, look, Miami Sweet Heat, they're definitely good in that ring. Make no mistake about it, but they're a little bit bland. They're a little bit generic when it comes to their promo stuff and everything. So, they kind of need a little bit of help right there and everything. And so to see this alliance, if you will, with Lana Starr, which is thus, okay, we need answers. We need to know what the hell is going on here. Nice, good, strong cliffhanger. So some really good matches from episode 13 to set up this weekend's episode 14 and everything. So, talking about that whole tease and all of that. Remember I said we had another debut and all? Yeah, a lot of stuff had went down from this weekend's Wild Women of Wrestling. First off, Gigi Gianni thought she was going to be teaming up with her girl Adriana Gambino for some tag team action against Coach Campanelli and Randy Rah-Rah. Didn't happen, as Gigi Gianni went out there all by herself, kind of wondering what was going on with her tag partner. We get no explanation whatsoever what was going on with the tag partner. Next thing you know, finally, because you saw them on the roster if you've been paying attention on the website, but they've yet to make their re-debut, if you will, or they've yet to appear this season until now. Exile finally made their fucking return. I miss this fucking team like you have no idea. Of course, that consists of Malaya Hasaka, Genesis, and Exodus. They reappeared, and Malaya Hasaka grabbing the microphone and talking about how, they pretty much were were exiled from WoW, and they did not appreciate that by David McClain. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, we hear you guys talking a really good game and everything about, hey, you know, you all about, you know, you're all about the future, you know, and you want to build towards the future and everything. But in order to build towards the future, you've got to acknowledge the past. And what y'all did to us by, you know, kicking us out of here, banishing us, that's just wrong, right? Like, no, that's not how it's going to go down. So we're going to tell you how it's going to go down right now, which is we're going to get involved in this tag match because, and then they turn their attention to Gigi and pretty much told her, looks like you don't have a tag team partner right now. So this match ain't got nothing to do with you, Gigi. So girls, go ahead, show this little thing her way out the door. And they pretty much beat her ass down, kicked her out. Okay, so you can't help but wonder if Gigi maybe got wind that Exile was in the building and she didn't want to have anything to do with that, and so she made a smart business decision to, yeah, let me just disappear from this. Or, you know, like, this is definitely a fracture, if you will, in the tag relationship between Gigi Gianni and Adriana Gambino. It's going to be interesting to see if this it feels fractured by doing a move like that, because this is equivalent to, hey, there's a head out on this person. Oh yeah? Okay, bet. Yeah, so you probably don't want to be near them this weekend because, like, if you're with them, you're probably going to be dead too, right? So I wonder if somehow Adriana Gambino got wind about Exile and just was like, yeah, without relaying it to her tag partner there. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But yeah, so it would be Genesis, Exodus in tag team action against Coach Campanelli and Randy Rara. Exile picking up the win. Malaya Hosaka picking up right where she left off, pretty much from the lost episodes and the previous season there on Access TV. You know, when it's 3 and it's against 2, the numbers game there. Whoever is outside causing a little interference, and Malaya Hosaka played it perfectly in the final minutes of this matchup as she had connected with a TKO on Randy Rara, as Genesis Exodus were pretty much able to take advantage, pick up the win. So I'm happy to see Exile back in WoW. This was actually one of my favorite stables that I was expecting to see cause a lot of havoc on the WoW roster and everything. And given the circumstances of what's been going on with the Lana Starr stable, I can't help but wonder if Exile, to the point that Malaya Hosaka was bringing up so far about, you know, all this time actually, and she's been very consistent. It's like, hey, you know, you got to recognize the past. You know, you want to build towards the future and everything, but, you know, a lot of these women that's on this roster today, they're not respecting the past. They're not respecting their elders, and, you know, this needs to be all about respect. And so they've got this serious chip on their shoulders as a result and everything. I can't help but wonder, to the point that, in storyline, mind you, I can't help but wonder if, to the point of what Malaya Hosaka has been talking about this entire time, and then you look at what Lana Starr has been doing. I mean, you could make an argument that this is what essentially embodies what Malaya Hosaka has been talking about and everything. So to the point, you can't help but wonder if somehow in the process, Exile is maybe going to end up being good guys in this. Or, no, it's just business as usual. They're just going to do their usual, you know, female NWO stuff and, you know, beating random people up and all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, making her debut on this weekend's WoW Women of Wrestling, Vicky Lynn McCoy taking on Chantilly Chella. So this is a new protege being presented to us by Lana Starr, as Lana Starr briefly talked about how she found this woman from out in Oklahoma and just decided, yo, I really like what I see in this girl. Definitely got to. And then David McClain chimed in a little bit to let us know, yeah, she hasn't been with WoW that long. She's only been with us a couple of months, getting in her training. She's been on the independence for a hot minute. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, what is going on with this girl? I mean, this girl, I gotta say, and I was chatting it up with, I think it was Maurice Bear. Shout out to Maurice over the weekend, because I was telling him, I said, man, that fucking Vicky Lynn McCoy, she is beast. She's fucking awesome. She reminds me so much, when you look at her face particularly, she looks like Beth Phoenix. If I were to describe her to you guys, she looks like a nice, juicy, thick, and I mean that in the, I like what I see, okay? That ain't no knock. I like what I see from Vicky Lynn McCoy. She is nice and thick. She looks like a nice, thick Beth Phoenix, right? Got a brother drooling, all right? I like that. I like that. And I like the fact that if you check her out on her social media account, she owns the fact that she's a big girl. She owns it. She rocks it. You know, she posts some really good stuff, especially on the Instagram, y'all. Let me say, the Instagram stuff, ooh, y'all need to check that out, man. It ain't no OnlyFans territory, but you definitely raise an eyebrow when you look at the stuff. But yeah, I would say, damn, that girl is good. Seriously, she is almost like, to some extent, a hybrid almost of Penelope Pink. And if you've been checking out the work of Penelope Pink so far, you know, in some aspects, when you're looking at Vicky Lynn McCoy, you could say, okay, Vicky Lynn, you know, you could say, okay, she's somewhat faster. She's a little bit more of a powerhouse, but she's got some serious speed to her and agility, much more than Penelope Pink in some areas. And then Penelope Pink, you know, as far as showmanship, right, taunting and all that, you know, she's got more of an edge with that. And in some aspects, her in-ring ability, you know, she's got more pluses on Vicky Lynn. You understand what I'm saying? And vice versa. So it's kind of interesting. Them two, to my point, those two would definitely make a very interesting tag team. Quite impressed with Vicky Lynn. Now, I did do some research on this girl, because I know some of you guys will usually comment, hey, you know, where is this girl from and everything. And remember, this is a woman that has yet to have her face as part of the roster on the website. So this was just really a out of nowhere. She has been a wrestler now, by all accounts, for at least 2 years now. Some of the promotions that she's worked for is ACW, PPW, Twisted Wrestling, and Ohio Valley Wrestling. She also did some stuff with DCW. So she's been at it. And then heads up, something that's kind of noteworthy to maybe bring to your attention, there was a women's Nightmare Rumble that she participated in, and that was a pretty loaded up card. There's actually quite a few names that I'm recognizing from this. Lindsay Snow definitely being one of those names, Angelina Love being another. So, you know, she has only made just a small handful of appearances for some wrestling promotions so far, and now here she is with WoW Women of Wrestling and everything. I think this was definitely a great acquisition by David McClain and crew. Definitely a good one here. I don't know if it was really a smart move to have Chantilly Cella be the one to do the deed and lose to Vicky Lynn McCoy. On the one hand, you can look at this match and you could say, damn, this is pretty much just like what we got last week between Penelope Pink and Chantilly Cella. You know, nice, good back and forth, you know, technical to some extent, definitely kick-ass match, right? But where you kind of go is the fact that last week you saw Chantilly Chella lose to a member of Lana Starr's stable, if you will. And now we follow up this week, and here we are putting Chantilly Chella out there again, and we have her lose to another member of. You feel where I'm coming from? So that I kind of felt a little bit salty about when it's all said and done, but not enough to rain on the parade and everything on this match. Good match. It was actually a pretty good match. For this episode, one of my favorite matches from out of this weekend's episode, actually. Post match, Lana Starr had grabbed a microphone, hyping up her girl Vicky Lynn McCoy even more, and she wanted for Sweet Miami Heat to enter the ring. Penelope Pink, she had all of those girls come in there, and they were all presented with these pink boxes. And when these boxes were opened up, there were these pink, hot pink leather jackets, and on the back of these jackets was the text, cool text too, the Fabulous Four. So we have officially now been introduced to the newest stable in Wild Women of Wrestling, which is called the Fabulous Four. No one is safe. I mean, those are some serious numbers right there. Penelope Pink, Lana Starr, Lana Starr basically assuming the role of a female version of J.J. Dillon, if you will. Hey, I'm all right with that, okay? But you've got Penelope Pink, Lori Lindsay, okay, of Miami Sweet Heat. And then you throw in there Vicky Lynn McCoy. This is one hell of a damn stable. I gotta say, I am looking most forward to seeing exactly where this stable goes, because they really could take all the fucking gold. They really, really could, especially with Lana Starr making her intentions known that, that Wow Women of Wrestling's Heavyweight Championship, we definitely want to add that to the collection. But of course, that brings about a question. Well, what exactly is going on with Beast? We actually got a health update on Beast on this very episode. It was a little cornballish, sure, but it was still a great segment to see. They had Beast on crutches coming into the room. David McClain was in a sweater, and he was chatting it up on the phone. He gets off of the phone, and he's like, Beast, what's up? And she says to him, I just want to let you know. And David McClain stops. She's like, you need some help? And she's like, no, I don't need no help. And she's like, as a matter of fact, I don't need these crutches anymore. And she freaking tosses them down. And David McClain's just kind of looking like, the hell's, what's going on here? And Beast goes, I'm back. I'm ready to return. And they do that fucking Rocky 3. They do that Rocky 3 fucking handshake deal. A little fist thing. You could take that. You could either go with Rocky 3 or you could go with fucking Predator. They do that fucking, test of strength and locking up hands there. So that's news to get, because we all were kind of wondering, that's been the following while so far. What exactly is the status of Beast? Are they maybe going to have to announce an interim champion? What exactly is going on here? But Beast is healthy. She is ready to go. Fantastic news to hear. But man, what awaits the Beast when she returns? Because you got some serious competitors waiting in the wings to get their shot at a chance to possibly become the new WoW Women's Champion. You've got Wrecking Ball. You've got Reina Del Rey there. I know I'm kind of probably messing up her name. Just give me a chance. I'll remember the name more correctly in a hot little bit. You got Leia Makoa. But now you've got that Fabulous Four stable as well. It's going to be chaotic what's going to be coming up in the next coming weeks. Let me tell you that right now. Right down to the point, there's probably going to have to be alliances that's going to be formed on the Beast's end. There's alliances that's going to have to be formed that, under any other circumstance, no to the hell no. but because of what's going on with the Fabulous Four, about to run roughshod on the Wild roster, and that's what they need to do. They need to continue to build these four girls up respectfully, okay? But man, I can see it now. I can honestly see a case. So you're looking at the Fabulous Four, and you're probably saying to yourself, well, who exactly could combat against that stable? I think ultimately it's going to be a case where Beast, Reina Del Rey, I did remember the name right correctly. But Reina Del Rey, man, is that going to be a fucking wild card? Seriously, that is going to be a wild card. Leia and Makoa for sure. Trying to think who the. I don't think Commander Spars. I'm not seeing Commander Spars. I don't think it's going to be Commander Spars. I know Americana. Americana reminds me so much of a light version of Santana Garrett. I'm not picking up enough personality just yet, based off what I've seen so far of her. I'll be talking about her a little bit more too, because she did make a little bit of a cameo on this episode. But yeah, I'm looking at this roster. I'm trying to see who could possibly be that fourth woman. Oh, damn, I can't believe I blanked on my girl, Princess Aussie. Yeah, for sure. So, Princess Aussie, Leia Makoa, Reina Del Rey, the Beast. But of those three girls, as far as who's going to ultimately be the one to take on Beast for the championship, right? That's the other thing that you got to think about as well. So, lot of twists and turns that's going to be coming on future episodes for sure. Disciplinarian going up against my girl, my favorite girl, Jessie Jones. Oh, I love this one. I love this one for all intents and purposes. These two girls, great story that they told. Love seeing Samantha Smart get involved to pretty much cause this match to end in a disqualification win for Jessie Jones, when she just went to the back of Jessie Jones with a ruler, that trademark ruler stick of hers. Yeah, because basically Jessie Jones had got disciplinarian in an armbar hold submission, and it looked like disciplinarian was getting ready to tap out. Next thing you know, Samantha Smart just comes in there with that damn ruler. Cack. Referee throws the match out, right? Like, come on, man. DQ automatically. So Jessie Jones wins via DQ. Jessie Jones fights Samantha Smart, gets her in an armbar hold as well, but numbers game proved to be too much because Ice Cold had actually got involved. Next thing you know, you're seeing a 3-on-1 beatdown. Coming out for the save, Commander Spars and Americana. This pretty much had made the girls back off. Jessie Jones grabs a microphone and pretty much says, look, I want this match. I want you to make a tag match. Put me, Commander Spars, Americana together. We want to take on Ice Cold, Disciplinarian, and for sure, give me Samantha Smart. David McClain pretty much says, okay, you know what? That's what you want? Okay, you got it. It's on. You got it. So I don't think we're going to be getting that match next week, for all intents and purposes. I don't think we're going to be getting that next week based off the preview that they showed us. Doesn't appear we're going to be getting it then. Main event match of the card, Leia Makoa taking on Wrecking Ball. Nice, good way to close out this episode. And I love how they have just continued to hype up Leia Makoa. You know, they pretty much are letting you know, this woman, very impressive since she's come to WoW. Definitely a future main eventer, a future heavyweight champion. They are really, you pay attention enough, you can really tell who David McClain and crew want you to really focus on. And Makoa is definitely somebody. I know how to pick them, man. I am a scary judge of character as far as this person, right? I know I know money when I see it. I know money when I smell it. I know money when I taste it. I know money when I hear it. McCoy is definitely somebody that can go pretty high up there. I really would be quite stunned to hear that if maybe 3 to 4 years from now, if McCoy has not signed to one of the major wrestling outlets, that is, if she decides she wants to, maybe go elsewhere, I'd be surprised. Well, look, she may like what's going on with WoW and may want to just continue to stay there, but some have aspirations, some have dreams to, let's go elsewhere. Let's really build up on this and everything. But unless it's a decision to stay with WoW, then if it's a case where she's out there on the independents and 3 to 4 years from now she still has not signed to the bigger companies such as WWE or AEW or Impact for that matter, that's kind of one of those. So what's going on here, right? Kind of one of those. McCullough picking up the win over Wrecking Ball. Nice clean win, by the way. No interference, nothing happening post-match. Just nice, good, strong way to go out, quite honestly. Was fine with that. Was fine with the way that they had put a nice, pretty little ribbon on the episode from this weekend when it's all said and done. McCullough definitely. Yeah, I got high hopes for McCullough. So that was WoW when it's all said and done. Nice, good, strong episode. I gotta say, these past 2 episodes that I've seen, it's a nice rebound from what had went down some weeks ago, because there was one episode, I don't know if it was episode 12 or if it was 11, but I remember saying to you guys, this is probably the second weakest episode out of the new season so far that I'm going, a little so-so here. You ain't miss it. If you ain't watch it, you ain't miss nothing special. Right? So, got some interesting WoW news to share with you guys. Only one thing. As we get ready to wrap it up, I'll give you guys some programming notes too while I'm at it. So, David McClain had did a interview with the Miami Herald, and they discussed the future of the company and why WoW isn't ready to tour at the moment. Now, you guys got to remember. And look, the Miami Herald, obviously a lot of people read the Miami Herald, but full disclosure, this is a question that was asked of David McClain by myself and Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup. We actually interviewed David McClain of Wow Women of Wrestling some years back. And we asked him what's going on with live tours. Are we going to see that? Whole bunch of questions. So, I mean, if you guys want to hear the original cats, that posed the question to him, all you got to do is just, hop on YouTube. There's a WoW playlist that includes interviews as well. You can go check it out there. Or if you're an audio cat, it's definitely available for on demand and on the downloads. But here is what David McClain had to say. As of today, the Wild Women of Wrestling is better served on television. It's not ready to tour yet. Everyone sees the difficulty of hitting the road immediately. We're still only 13 to 14 weeks into the brand new season of WoW on television. We need help. We need every fan that watches TV to be getting on social media and building up WoW. And he is absolutely right. And that kind of circles back to how we had opened up the show, and I was talking about that is one of also the main reasons why I continue to talk about WoW Women of Wrestling every single week. Yes, number one, I love the hell out of this promotion. I have deep respect, appreciation for what David McClain, Jeannie Buss, AJ Lee, deep appreciation and respect for them. Everybody behind the scenes, right? Whether you're working in front of the camera or behind the camera, I have deep respect and appreciation for what everybody is doing collectively to what I think is honestly create a really great brand, a really awesome promotion. And when you look at the social media engagements for this promotion, I mean, yeah, usually you'll see me if I'm able to, access it. I'm usually interacting in real time. There's others, there's the usual suspects that's online that weekend talking about WoW, but there's really not enough engagement. There really isn't. And it's kind of sad. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're pulling in really great numbers. Really great numbers. They typically average 280 something thousand viewers each episode. That's pretty good for a series that is in syndication. Meanwhile, you look at Impact Wrestling, they can barely crack 100,000. And they've got their own fucking network. The little Access TV. That's their own little fucking thing given to them by Anthem Entertainment. And they can't even crack 100,000. Matter of fact, the Impact ratings for this last episode from last week down by 20%. Okay? And, with WoW being in syndication, it is accessible on more televisions, satellite cable providers than what's going on with Impact. Okay? So it's not a case where there's not enough people that's watching. No, that's not it whatsoever. It's a case of, to David McClain's point, those that are watching, don't get me wrong, those that are watching, including myself, we're doing our part. We're getting on social media. We're doing our best to build it up and everything. David McClain and crew, they definitely have to try and do their part. And they've definitely got to, if I could make a suggestion to them, as far as really helping grow the brand even more, trying to spread awareness and all that other stuff. I mean, I think it's honestly, they're going to have to dig into a bag of tricks of, hey, if you want a new WoW t-shirt signed by, all you got to do is retweet, share this post. We'll pick a winner. I think if you were to do stuff like that, and also maybe somehow incorporate giveaways on the show. I remember back in the day, Impact Wrestling used to do some stuff like that. There was a couple other wrestling promotions that used to do some stuff like that as well. I think if they were to operate that way, that could definitely, right? But it needs to be a mutual thing. You can't just rely on the fans. You've also got to do your part in social media marketing to really, okay, so what can we do to really build this up? What can we do to, and I think that's great that they make themselves available for TV interviews, things of that nature. But the more podcast shows that they go on, whether it's Ma and Pa podcast, whether it's veteran podcasts, whether it's the podcasts that have those mega fucking followings, right? Like, the Jericho, the Mick Foleys, the Jim Cornettes, and if they would lend their voices in checking out the product, talking about the product, right? Putting hype on it and everything. Those cats are definitely influential in their own right. They definitely need to tap into some serious social media influencers to really help take WoW to that next level. And yeah, as far as trying to go on tour and everything, yeah, I would like that. I know Mish would definitely like that. A lot of people would like that. But it's just not going to happen if you don't have enough of a following. And it did not help when the pandemic went down. You know, that definitely had sidelined them and everything. So he went on to talk about what women of wrestling needs. Here's what he had to say. We need to be lifted up. That's what the wild superheroes need. They need air under their wings. When that happens, the brand awareness, the knowledge of who these performers are, then we can look at touring. That's an ultimate goal of my business partner, Jeannie Buss. She wants to bring WoW coast to coast, city to city, but we're not ready yet, and we don't want to be too early in attempting to do it. For now, it's a television event that you get to see every week in every market across the country. And he is absolutely right. Absolutely right on the head. It's all about brand awareness. It's all about building it up. Didn't help when the pandemic had went down. That definitely had knocked a lot of things back. 'Cause I remember at the time that we were talking to them, it seemed as though they were playing around with the idea of, okay, well, let's poll the fans, let's poll the supporters, let's see what the overwhelming number says as far as where they would like to see women of wrestling action come next, right? And it kind of seemed as though there was some type of preliminary talk a couple of years ago, maybe that something was in development, but then once COVID had hit and everything, that pretty much, right, whatever they were starting to build up, it pretty much went right back down to zero. And then, it's all about rebuilding, rebranding yet again and everything. Look, they've got a really great partner there, and CBS Paramount. They've got a really good partner in them. And I definitely think that in due time, if they do this right, honestly, they all just got to sit down. Some of the things that I had talked about, that's definitely some of the many ways that ultimately the brand can be helped. But until we have all of that working cohesively, okay, it's got to be at the same time. It's got to be cohesively, man. Until we have that type of harmony, WoW, unfortunately, is going to continue to be in the same spot that it's in for all intents and purposes. I mean, they're definitely doing it right on their YouTube channel. I like the fact that they're uploading these episodes in its entirety. They're uploading matches in its entirety. I like that they're doing all of those things, right? They're doing good, and they're getting decent numbers off of their YouTube videos. I mean, just looking at the current numbers as it stands right now, it's pretty good numbers. I mean, they're typically averaging anywhere from 2,500 to about 6,000, give or take. So there's definitely some good numbers there. I think from a marketing standpoint, definitely working with AJ Lee, trying to figure out ways maybe they could try and utilize her name and everything, maybe do some type of a YouTube exclusive where AJ Lee, maybe interviews one of the girls from the WoW roster, maybe comes in, mention some type of a contest. They got to do more than just upload stuff on the YouTube channel. Just, hey, here's this new episode, be sure to watch it. They got to do more than just blasting. They too have to, and they, to their credit, they're doing better than the last rodeo as far as the social media game goes and all that. They're doing a little better. They just gotta stay on top of it, and if that means that they ultimately need to hire a couple of more people to maybe be social media campaign managers, so be it. Wow, more than willing to help. Give me a buzz, right? Give me a buzz on that, because I do know a thing or two about working that social media campaign managing game. But yeah, it's very interesting what's going on here. I appreciate, how candid he was. I mean, he was pretty candid when we interviewed him a couple of years ago. So it's nice to see that he's still being very candid about the whole process that's going on with the touring and everything. And when you hear all that, you just can't help but say, man, well, knocking on wood, hoping for the very best and everything. So that is that. And on that note, as far as programming notes go, here's what we got coming up. So later tonight, I'll be live with you guys after WWE Raw goes off the air. So tune in for that. That'll be at 11:05 p.m. Eastern. We'll be going a little bit all over the place on that episode. We'll be back on Wednesday as well. I don't know if we're going to do a live watch along just yet. I'll probably poll you guys and ask you all if you want to have a live watch along or if just do the post show. And then let's see. I know we're going to get a new WoW episode this weekend. I can't believe we're getting another new one. Seriously, they've yet to take a weekend off. So I like that though. I got no problem with that. I like that. So yeah, that's all the programming that's going to be going down as we head into Christmas weekend. Yo, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify. We're now on Spotify. Listen to a decent amount of episodes. Leave those ratings on Spotify. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Please, I can't stress this enough, and it kind of follows up to what David McClain and crew were talking about earlier. If you like WoW, Women of Wrestling, you like the coverage of women's wrestling and everything, you had found this episode most helpful, definitely hit the like button. You do that, it helps more people be able to discover the content with ease. So thanks. Feel free to subscribe as well. Doing those things, you're pretty much letting me know that you appreciate it. You appreciated the content, and it helps me definitely put more out there for you guys to check out and everything. Okay, so on that note, I am going to say adieu for now, as we are on a 4-hour break, a 5-hour break, if you will. I'll catch you guys after Raw goes off the air. Until then, I'll see you guys next go around. Adios.